Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. As children, we are fearless, bold, and full of innocence and wonder, but our imaginations often get the best of us. We are told that there are no such things as monsters, ghouls, goblins, and phantoms in the night. We are told stories of creatures that go bump in the darkness around a fading campfire, making it hard to sleep a wink afterwards, despite how snug and warm we are in the companies of friends and family. But sometimes these tales surface and are reawakened through memory and experience. This series is dedicated to one of my most enjoyable and memorable readings as a child. I'd like to think that this book sparked my interest, my love for horror. This is Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, collected and written by Alvin Schwartz, narrated by yours truly, the Grim Sleeper. Story 1. The Big Toe. A boy was digging at the edge of the garden when he saw a big toe. He tried to pick it up, but it was stuck to something, so he gave it a good hard jerk and it came off in his hand. Then he heard something groan and scamper away. The boy took the toe into the kitchen and showed it to his mother. "It looks nice and plump," she said. "I'll put it in the stew and we'll have it for supper." That night his father carved the toe into 3 pieces and they each had a piece. Then they did the dishes, and when it got dark they went to bed. The boy fell asleep almost at once, but in the middle of the night a sound awakened him. It was something out in the street. It was a voice, and it was calling to him.
"Where's is my toe?"
It groaned. When the boy heard that, he got very scared. But he thought, "It doesn't know where I am. It will never find me." Then he heard the voice once more, only now it was closer.
"Where is my toe?"
It groaned. The boy pulled the blankets over his head and closed his eyes. I'll just go to sleep," he thought. "When I wake up, it will be gone." But soon he heard the back door open, and again he heard the voice.
"Where is my toe?"
It groaned. The boy heard footsteps move through the kitchen, into the dining room, into the living room, into the front hall. Then slowly they climbed the stairs. Closer and closer they came. Soon they were in the upstairs hall. Now they were outside his door.
"Where is my toe?"
The voice groaned. His door opened. Shaking with fear, he listened as the footsteps slowly moved through the dark toward his bed. Then they stopped.
"Where is my toe?"
The voice groaned.
"You've done it."
Story 2. The Walk. My uncle was walking down a lonely dirt road one day. He came upon a man who was also walking down the road. The man looked at my uncle, and my uncle looked at the man. The man was scared of my uncle, and my uncle was scared of the man. But they kept on walking, and it began to get dark. The man looked at my uncle, and my uncle looked at the man. The man was very scared of my uncle, and my uncle was very scared of that man. But they kept on walking, and they came to the big woods. It was getting darker, and the man looked at my uncle, and my uncle looked at the man. The man was really scared of my uncle, and my uncle was really scared of that man. But they kept on walking, and deep down into the woods they went. It was getting darker, and the man looked at my uncle, and my uncle looked at the man. The man was terribly scared of my uncle, and my uncle was terribly scared of... Story 3. What do you come for? There was an old woman who lived all by herself, and she was very lonely. Sitting in the kitchen one night, she said,
Oh, I wish I had some company.
No sooner had she spoken than down the chimney tumbled 2 feet from which the flesh had rotted. The old woman's eyes bulged with terror. Then 2 legs dropped to the hearth and attached themselves to the feet. Then a body tumbled down, then 2 arms, and then a man's head. As the old woman watched, the parts came together into a great gangling man. The man danced around and around the room. Faster and faster he went. When he stopped and he looked into her eyes.
What do you come for?
She asked in a small voice that shivered and shook.
What do I come for?
He said.
I come for you.
Story 4. Mitai Dodie Walker. There was a haunted house where every night a bloody head fell down the chimney. At least, that's what people said. So nobody would stay there overnight. Then, a rich man offered $200 to whoever would do it. And this boy said he would try if he could have his dog with him. So, it was all settled. The very next night, the boy went to the house with his dog. To make it more cheerful, he started a fire in the fireplace. Then he sat in front of the fire and waited, and his dog waited with him. For a while, nothing happened. But a little after midnight, he heard someone singing softly and sadly off in the woods. The singing sounded something like this.
Mitai Dodie Walker.
It's just someone singing, the boy told himself. But he was frightened. Then his dog answered the song. Softly and sadly it sang.
Linchy kinchy collie molly dingo dingo.
The boy could not believe his ears. His dog had never uttered a word before. Then a few minutes later he heard the singing again. Now it was closer and louder, but the words were the same.
Mitai Dodie Walker.
This time the boy tried to stop his dog from answering. He was afraid that whoever was singing would hear it and come after them. But his dog paid no attention, and again it sang.
Linchy kinchy collie molly dingo dingo.
A half hour, the boy heard the singing again. Now it was in the backyard, and the song was the same.
Mitai Dodie Walker.
Again, the boy tried to keep his dog quiet, but the dog sang out louder than ever.
Linchy kinchy collie molly dingo dingo.
Soon, the boy heard the singing again. Now it was coming down the chimney.
Mitai Dodie Walker.
The dog sang right back.
Linchy kinchy collie molly dingo dingo.
Suddenly, a bloody head fell out of the chimney. It missed the fire and landed right next to the dog. The dog took one look and fell over, dead from fright. The head turned and stared at the boy, slowly opened its mouth, and... A man who lived in Leeds. Some say this rhyme doesn't mean anything, others are not so sure. There was a man who lived in Leeds. He filled his garden full of seeds, and when the seeds began to grow, it was like a garden filled with snow. But when the snow began to melt, it was like a ship without a bell. And when the ship began to sail, it was like a bird without a tail. And when the bird began to fly, it was like an eagle in the sky. And when the sky began to roar, it was like a lion at the door. And when the door began to crack, it was like a penknife in my back. And when my back began to bleed, I was dead, dead, dead indeed.